Welcome to Concrete Block, the podcast where we dive into the latest news and current events that shape our world. I'm your host, Walter, and we're glad you're joining us today. As we explore the stories that matter, we'll strive to provide a fair and balanced perspective without taking sides or promoting any particular agenda. Today, we're starting with a story that's been making waves in the world of politics and technology. Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, has been under scrutiny for his involvement in the Department of Government Efficiency, also known as DOGE. This pseudo-agency, established by former President Donald Trump, has been tasked with streamlining government operations, but critics argue that it's being used to undermine democratic institutions. Recently, Musk made headlines again when he offered large cash handouts to individuals in Wisconsin who signed a petition opposing activist judges. This move has raised concerns about the potential for vote buying and the influence of money in politics. The Wisconsin Attorney General, Josh Kaul, has announced plans to file an injunction against Musk's actions, citing concerns that they may violate state law. Now, we want to provide some context here. Musk has been a vocal supporter of Trump and has used his social media platform to promote the former president's agenda. He's also faced criticism for his handling of DOGE, which some see as an attempt to dismantle the federal government from within. As we examine this story, it's essential to consider multiple perspectives. On one hand, Musk's supporters argue that he's simply exercising his right to free speech and promoting a cause he believes in. On the other hand, critics contend that his actions are a blatant attempt to manipulate the electoral process and undermine the integrity of the democratic system. We'll continue to follow this story and provide updates as more information becomes available. In the meantime, we encourage our listeners to think critically about the role of money in politics and the potential consequences of unchecked influence. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Concrete Block. Welcome back to Concrete Block. We're diving into the world of international news, where diplomacy, politics, and intrigue often collide. Today, we're looking at a few stories that caught our attention from around the globe. First off, let's talk about the recent developments in Ukraine. The US and Russia have been engaged in talks aimed at reaching a limited ceasefire in the region. These negotiations are crucial as they could potentially lead to a reduction in violence and pave the way for more comprehensive peace discussions. It's essential to understand that finding a resolution to this conflict will require careful consideration of the underlying issues driving it. Meanwhile, Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has embarked on a diplomatic tour, with a recent stop in Japan. This trip highlights the importance of international trade and diplomacy, especially for countries looking to strengthen their economic positions. Brazil's slow-burning economic crisis makes such efforts particularly significant, as the country seeks to boost exports and stimulate growth. In other news, a Japanese court has ordered the dissolution of a religious organization, following scrutiny over its activities and ties to former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. This development underscores the complex relationships between religion, politics, and society, and how these intersections can sometimes lead to controversy and conflict. Lastly, protests have been erupting in Turkey, sparked by the arrest of Istanbul's mayor. These demonstrations reflect the deep-seated political divisions within the country and the challenges faced by opposition groups. As the situation continues to unfold, it will be crucial to monitor how the government responds to these protests and the implications for Turkey's political landscape. As we explore these stories, it's clear that the world is full of complex issues, each with its own set of challenges and opportunities. At Concrete Block, we're committed to providing you with a balanced view of global events, helping you stay informed about what's happening around the world. Stay tuned for our final story of the day, right here on Concrete Block. Welcome back to Concrete Block. We're wrapping up today's show with a look at the devastating earthquake that struck central Myanmar earlier this week. The powerful magnitude 7.7 quake has left at least 144 people confirmed dead and widespread damage across both Myanmar and Thailand. As we've been following this story, it's become clear that the earthquake's impact was exacerbated by its location and depth. The quake occurred along the Sagaing Fault, a large fault line that runs north to south through central Myanmar, and its shallow depth of just 10 kilometers below ground made it particularly destructive. Our sources indicate that the earthquake was a strike-slip earthquake, resulting from sideways movement along the fault line as the India tectonic plate grinds against the Sunda plate. This region is known for its seismic hazards, with many large quakes having occurred in the area over the last century. The humanitarian situation on the ground is dire, with reports of collapsed buildings, broken roads, and damaged infrastructure, including a crumbled bridge and at least one dam. International aid workers are scrambling to respond to the disaster, with concerns about liquefaction and landslides adding to the complexity of the relief efforts. It's worth noting that Myanmar's government has declared multiple regions as disaster areas and made a rare request for international aid, which may indicate a willingness to accept external assistance in responding to the crisis. However, the country's ongoing conflict and political instability may also pose challenges to the relief efforts. As we close out this segment, our thoughts are with the people of Myanmar and Thailand who have been affected by this disaster. We'll continue to monitor the situation and provide updates as more information becomes available. That's all for today's Concrete Block. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, stay informed.